Now, let's change it up this week. I really like the daily breakdown, but there's a problem. It makes me feel like I have to come up with something every day. And by something, I mean visible progress. Now, if you've watched the previous videos, you know I've taken little shortcuts here and there, and working like this will become a problem at some point. And I was definitely getting to that point. So I thought I should take a day or two and just untangle this little mess I'd created. So I started tearing things apart, creating units, moving code around, and this made all the sloppiness visible, which was mostly global variables everywhere. And I mean it, everywhere. And once again, I missed automated refactoring tools, but even more, I missed version control. Being able to stash changes, switch branches, jump between different versions, it's such a blessing. I'm definitely too lazy to copy files around manually. Call it spoiled if you want, but once you're used to a certain level of comfort, it's hard to go back. In the end, I decided to muscle through. By Tuesday, I had a bunch of reasonably sized units, but why stop there? I didn't like that I still had some low-level details in the main program, like initializing the video mode. Also, I was writing to the actual video memory, the memory used for double buffering, and another one for the map buffer. It just called for an abstraction. And because naming sucks, I went with the first name that came to mind, and that was canvas. A canvas has a size, you can fill it, draw pixels, draw images with transparency, copy the full canvas or just a region to another canvas, and update it. What the hell is update? I'll get to that. In my mental model, canvas is just an interface, but Turbo Pascal 7 has no interfaces. So it ended up more like an abstract class, except Turbo Pascal 7 doesn't have abstract classes either. So it's really just a concrete class and a bunch of subclasses. I don't love it, it's more that I've accepted the limitations of the language. But let me show you the canvas in action. So I'm gonna need my screen unit, which contains all the canvas stuff. Why is it called screen? This is where I put all the graphics operations, and then I came up with the canvas idea. And never renamed the unit or moved the canvas code. But I will, at some point. I also need a variable for my canvas, and now the only thing I have to do is call VGA, which is a factory function that returns a canvas that uses mode 13 hex. Wait for a key press, and dispose the canvas at the end. But when I run it, the screen's black because I didn't draw anything. So let's change that and fill the canvas. Alright, nice and blue. Now let's put a pixel on the screen. Easy. So let's create a very simple star field. Nothing fancy, just a bunch of pixels that move across the screen. I use an array of records and initialize the x and y coordinates with random positions on the screen. Let's put the rendering in a while loop. Copy this loop over. Realize it would have been faster to just type it out, but now it's too late. Add the missing color. Yeah, the copy-paste definitely wasn't worth it. But finally, stars on the screen. Flickery, but I'm gonna fix that in a sec. Let's move them first. To get rid of the flickering, I switched to the double buffered VGA canvas. And it would be too cool if this was the only change needed, but when I run it, the screen is black again. I have to call update on the canvas to make the changes visible. And this is exactly what update is for. It's definitely a smell because the other implementations don't need it. I want to replace the blue background with something different, so I load a background image and draw it onto the canvas. There's a second image, which is actually just a continuation of the first one. Now, wouldn't it be cool to move the full image across the screen? Let's do that. I used the in-memory function to create a virtual canvas twice as wide as the actual screen. But wait a sec, how is that possible? Well, this implementation allocates multiple memory blocks to get around the 64K limitation. So I load the first image and copy it to the first half of the canvas, and then load the second image and copy it to the second half. And in the loop, I copy the first half of the in-memory canvas to the video canvas. Okay, let's move it. I create a variable to keep track of the background's X position, increment it in the loop, and make it wrap around at the end. I guess the star field doesn't make much sense anymore, so let's turn it into snow. Okay, sweet. Now let's add Marty. I load the sprite sheet, copy the first sprite and draw it to the video canvas. Since everything is moving, Marty should move too, so I add variables to keep track of his X and Y position, as well as the direction he's moving in. I initialized the variables and replaced the hard-coded coordinates. To keep him on the screen, I add two if conditions to change his direction when he reaches the end of the screen. Okay, not bad, but let's actually keep him on the screen and maybe make him move a little faster. And this was my little canvas demo. Not sure if it's gonna stay, but it definitely makes things easier. But did I make any changes to the game this week? I did. Now that I found a way around the 64K limitation, I can finally fill the entire screen and have a scrollable map. And I also added vertical scrolling, but that was pretty much it.